This is a traveler's check, a prepaid fixed-amount check designed as a substitute for cash. At the turn of the 20th century, and for decades thereafter, a wealthy tradesman traveling across the country would likely not leave home without one. Even if your transport was attacked by bandits and your check was stolen, or if you simply misplaced it, you could contact American Express, provide the check number, and they'd reissue a new one for you. While American Express didn't invent the concept of prepaid notes, they revolutionized the industry by leveraging their sheer scale. They issued so many checks that they became widely accepted at banks, hotels, and stores across the globe. This innovation, along with the peace of mind it offered to travelers, laid the foundation for modern travel payment methods like digital wallets and corporate cards. This simple idea has been the backbone of Amex's travel empire for over a century. In a world where any business, even a large one, can fail if it fails to adapt, this principle continues to save Amex, keeping it at the top. Now, let's dive into 3 key moments when Amex GBT embraced transformation. American Express was founded in 1850 as a humble mailing company, initially focused on transporting a wide variety of goods, from financial documents to household items, currency, and even gold. At the time, the U.S. was actively expanding into the Western territories, and American Express quickly established itself as an essential service for both individuals and businesses. By the end of the Civil War, the company became a massive operation with 900 offices in 10 states, and it played a crucial role in the development of communities and commerce across the country. The traveler's check was launched in 1891, revolutionizing the way people traveled and managed money abroad. Another transformational idea was the introduction of the money order service. At the time, when most people didn't have checking accounts, money orders became the preferred method of sending money, especially for immigrants sending funds back to their families. It even competed with the U.S. Postal Service as a convenient way to pay for everyday expenses like gas and electricity. However, the landscape was changing rapidly. When the U.S. government nationalized the express industry, American Express was forced to pivot its business model, making its first significant adaptation. The company shifted its focus to other operations, most notably banking and travel. American Express developed its very own travel agency, organizing tours to exotic destinations worldwide, and even launching the first-ever around-the-world passenger cruise. Over the next century, American Express travel services grew to operate over 800 agency locations in the U.S. alone and 1,700 worldwide. It dominated the market for decades, until Expedia claimed the top spot in 2010. One of their most significant contributions to the corporate travel industry was the introduction of the corporate card, which was basically an upgraded traveler's check. Employees would submit monthly statements detailing all transactions, which were then reviewed by their employers. If anything seemed out of line, they could contact American Express directly to investigate. For many years, Amex juggled both very different units, travel and banking, until it finally decided to separate the two and create American Express Global Business Travel, GBT. Amex GBT was a travel management company, a specialized travel agency for businesses, handling everything from booking flights and hotels to ensuring compliance with company policies while securing the best possible travel deals. Even before becoming a dedicated company, Amex stood as one of the industry leaders alongside CWT and BCD Travel. Back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, travel management companies operated in a completely different world. Imagine rows of travel agents on the phone, manually booking flights and hotels through terminals of airline reservation systems like Sabre and Apollo, and shuffling stacks of paper tickets. But as technology advanced, online booking tools like Egencia, SAP Concur, TravelPerk, and Navan disrupted the industry, shifting control from agents to travelers themselves. Companies like Amex GBT had to evolve and integrate digital platforms. We've covered this transition in our video about Agencia. But here, let's dive into how Amex GBT navigated this shift to remain a leader in corporate travel. In 2013, a French startup called KDS introduced a groundbreaking app known as Neo, one of the first true door-to-door trip planning tools. Neo wasn't just about booking flights and hotels. It let users plan an entire journey, from walking and biking routes to rail tickets, accommodations, flights, and even dining options. It provided a real-time cost breakdown and automatically generated expense reports, reducing administrative headaches for companies. A later version of the app even introduced personalization features and an Apple Watch integration. Amex knew that what they lacked in technology, they could make up for with strategy. The rise of Neo and similar platforms signaled a major shift in the business travel industry. In 2016, Amex acquired KDS, securing a powerful digital solution that would help them compete in the evolving landscape. As the line between TMCs and OBTs continued to blur, Amex positioned itself to dominate both spaces. No longer just a traditional TMC, the company began expanding its own portfolio of OBTs, giving businesses more flexibility in how they managed corporate travel. Then, in 2021, Amex made an even bigger power move, acquiring Agencia. Agencia, one of the most tech-forward and aggressive contenders in corporate travel, had spent years innovating the field, leveraging the vast data resources and technological expertise of Expedia Group. Its platform offered sophisticated AI-driven booking, real-time expense tracking, and an unmatched user experience. Rather than competing head-to-head, Amex pulled its signature move: acquire the competition. By bringing Agencia into its ecosystem, Amex gained direct access to one of the most advanced travel tech infrastructures in the industry, solidifying its dominance in both managed corporate travel and online booking technology. But what adaptation was needed next? As businesses of all sizes embrace travel once again, a new trend is emerging. Small and medium-sized businesses are becoming a driving force in the recovery of the corporate travel industry. Only a few years after the COVID-19 pandemic, corporate travel has fully rebounded. But it's not just global and multinational customers driving the market. Small and medium-sized businesses are taking to the skies too. Managing business travel isn't just about booking flights. It's about saving time, controlling costs, and keeping employees safe on the road. For a growing company, that's not just convenience, it's a competitive edge. By 2022, more than half of Amex's new client acquisitions came from SMBs, with 30% of them having never used a managed travel solution before. In response, Amex restructured and expanded its offerings to better serve SMBs. One of its most significant moves was the seamless integration of its Neo One expense management platform with all Amex cards. Now, even the smallest businesses can issue virtual corporate cards to employees in seconds, setting budgets and spending controls with minimal effort. It gave SMBs access to financial oversight and tools once reserved for larger enterprises. You might have noticed that Amex GBT's growth strategy is rooted in a series of smart, forward-thinking moves that highlighted its commitment to staying ahead of the curve. One such move is the rapid adoption of NDC. NDC, or New Distribution Capability, is a new standard for retailing practices when selling flights via travel agencies. While we have a separate video diving deeper into NDC, what matters here is that it's been slow to catch on, especially in the corporate travel sector. Why? TMCs face a range of barriers, technical complexity, and functionality gaps, leading to a power struggle between airlines, who begin withdrawing their best fares from non-NDC channels, and TMCs, who must find ways to transition, even at the customer expense. Amex GBT, however, didn't hesitate. Their initiative to adopt NDC has evolved over 100 new hires and a $10 million initial investment. An initial win was becoming one of the first TMCs to connect to all 3 major DDSs for NDC content. But their focus has been developing their own marketplace with NDC content and establishing direct collaborations with airlines, such as Lufthansa, American Airlines, Air France-KLM, Delta, and United. This type of NDC integration is considered the most beneficial and the most complicated. That's why it takes a lot of work to connect to each new airline, and Amex seems committed to succeeding. Another technological initiative Amex is passionate about is AI. Back in 2020, Amex GBT acquired the startup 30 Seconds to Fly, which was already building conversational AI before ChatGPT had even been introduced. Now Amex uses this AI to read customer chat and email messages, categorizing everything from urgent flight changes to routine requests like invoice inquiries. It even helps draft responses to speed up the agent's reply time. Another AI application came with Agencia. Agencia is a personalization powerhouse that used a plethora of data from Expedia to build a booking engine suggesting the most relevant flights and hotels based on previous bookings, traveler profiles, and trends. Now, all of this tech belongs to Amex to play with. As a result, they now possess one of the best OBTs on the market. What's more, Amex appointed an AI team to inject the tech even further into the company's ecosystem. They plan to integrate AI in engineering and workplace efficiency, improving staff effectiveness. In terms of the possibility of AI replacing human assistants, Amex doesn't seem to be going down that path at all, and instead is focusing on ways it can be of use to agents. Amex GBT is looking ahead on even more fronts. Take sustainability. They recently introduced a carbon pricing tool, which applies a flat or dynamic carbon fee to employee flights, visible during booking and on invoices. These fees can then be redirected to green initiatives, and the company even provides a portal for verified carbon compensation projects, making it easier for users to contribute. One of the largest big opportunities for Amex GBT is a potential $500 million acquisition of CWT. Of course, that's not to say they won't face some regulatory roadblocks along the way. The U.S. Justice Department has already raised concerns over the CWT deal, and by the time you're watching this, you might already know how that story unfolds. In a nutshell, Amex is making sure it's not just part of the conversation about the future of travel, it's leading it. Whether or not they can continue this pace remains to be seen, but their commitment to embracing technology is certainly setting them up for long-term success. If you want to learn more about the history and evolution of corporate travel, watch our video detailing just that. And remember to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories about groundbreaking businesses changing the world of travel.